You're welcome back. Now let's turn our attention to something truly inspiring. That's local youth action for the SDGs and beyond. It's all about how Nigerian youths are stepping up right in their own communities to drive progress on the sustainable development goals.
Absolutely, Jumai, and from tackling poverty and improving education to championing climate action and healthcare. These young people aren't just talking about change. They are rolling up their sleeves and making it happen.
And it's not without its challenges, but with every hurdle, there's also opportunity, and we'll be hearing how youth-led projects are not only addressing local issues, but also leaving a lasting impact that reaches far beyond their communities.
So get ready for stories that will make you proud. Now, these are young Nigerians taking ownership of the SDGs and in the process, shaping a brighter future for us all. I'm now joined here in the studio by
Simeye Michael. He's the founder of the Global Goals Community Center. We have other guests that we're expecting who will be joining us in the course of the conversation. Simeye, it's good to see you. At least physically, after knowing you on the social media for almost 15 years, it's good to see you live.
The day I was going to Maiduguri was the day you were coming to Abuja.
Exactly. Yeah, we met at the airport, exactly. The day I was transferred back to Abuja. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Tell us what's going on in the youth world, because I call it a world.
Yeah.
The youth, it's a world in itself that we boomers don't even understand what is going on right now. So tell us.
So, well, unfortunately, as much as we wanted to remain very young and continue to be, enjoy the title of that youthfulness, I think we are so fast growing, and I'm hungry about that. I wish, against the ties of time, I can remove so many numbers from my age. But basically, globally, I think there's a new trend of awareness, and self-consciousness as regards young people. Young people are becoming more pragmatic. They are taking responsibilities. They are participating aggressively in, no longer sitting back and complaining, but, being part of the solutions and creating the kind of world they want to see. And largely, I think, to some of us who had labored in this field for 1 or 2 decades, I think we're proud of what we are seeing, today. Yeah, we're proud of what we're seeing today, especially in Nigeria. Yeah, in Nigeria, there's been a progressive layer. Globally, when global opportunities are publicized, you want to see the number of young people in Nigeria that submit brilliant ideas. It confuses every opportunity desk around the world. I'm participating in one currently, and we're providing young people from 4 African countries with some seed funding, and Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, and Niger within the Lake Chad region. Out of the over 4,000 applications that came in, Nigeria had almost about 3,000 plus. And then
Nigerian youths.
Yeah, Nigerian youths, below 35. And then by the time we were looking at how do we pick the best among the best, we had more than 2,000 ideas that vibrantly speak to specific problems within the communities. And this tells the story of how involved young people in Nigeria are to building the kind of world they want to see. Yeah.
Yes, they want to build the kind of world they want to see. So how is your agency or movement integrating the SDGs into local, development plans? And what role do you see for the young people as part of your plan?
So, Nigeria is demographically blessed, with youth population. To a lot of people, it's a concern, and it's something that has, in a lot of hands have been misused, because, the population, without equitable or intentional investment into their capacity, has led into so many disadvantages. People have used them, because of their vulnerability, but to a large extent, we have also seen how important the number is in building a robust democratic, community, and also building a very versatile entertainment industry, in building a sustainable agricultural, sector. And, before now, we have clamored on intentional investment and creating of opportunities. One of the things we have seen, just as the gender, equity campaign, is that if there is no intentional, opportunity creation for young people, there is a global landscape that doesn't provide equitable access for people of lesser age. We think it's just about Nigeria. This is not something about Nigeria. It's everywhere in the world. When you get to the US, when you get to the government, places, people who make decisions, and everywhere decisions are made, young people are not provided opportunity to be on the table. Okay, even though they are the drivers of what is happening behind the scene. But when it comes to designing and making decisions, anywhere in the world, young people, women are still of high disadvantage. So it's not exclusive to Nigeria. But the thing is, we have now seen young people, especially people who now have access as a result of technology. It's obvious. Sitting down and complaining seems not to be helping or solving the problem. You can imagine people like us who came from nowhere. I used to tell people in my village, if you shout too much in the beginning of the village, the person at the end of the village will
hear you.
will hear you. In the days when we were growing, it was such days when you can't even ask for sandal to wear to school. I remember in my primary school days, I went to school barefooted. It was those, man. It was those days when your shirt would tear at the back.
Or the pass-me-down uniform.
Thank you so much. You patch until you start just using it like that. It was those days when you put gari inside your shirt pocket and you put palm kernel to. But how that has changed as a result of not holding people, tight to be responsible to whatever happens to your life. Yeah. And now we're seeing more young people leading in this regard. So, providing access to education, providing access to renewable and recyclable activities and opportunities. In every quarter around Nigeria, we've seen great examples of young people causing inspiration. I
like the fact that you went back, took us back, on memory lane to the community. Yeah. So what, in your view, are specific, policies or programs that exist now to support youth-led SDG initiatives at the community level? Because that is where everything begins.
So let's take education, agriculture, and climate, for example. So today, globally, one of the key things we are advocating for is education that provide problem-solving ability. Okay. In the past, our headache around education is access, enrollment, But today, we've seen that ability to read and write is no longer the gateway to self-empowerment.
You must have skills to back it up.
These skills, and when we're talking about these skills, I think some of the issues we have also discussed with the Ministry of Education is confusing the skill around the vocational skills into cognitive and skills of problem solving. There are a lot of people who have vocational skills that the Ministry of Education has, are now embraced into, learning in schools. You can make fashion, you can make furniture, but you don't have interpersonal relationship. You don't have, communication skill. You can't persist. You have character, defect that will not sustain your ability to even market the skills that you have possessed. So now we, from the global perspective of core skills, delivery in classroom, we're looking at the government intentionally shifting grants to align, because we're operating in the same global market. Okay, so we can have people coming out of our education facilities, but a little below the standard of what other people globally are producing. Okay, when you go places and you see the smallest of ideas and how people are milking success from it, and then people in Nigeria having, have struggle with how, even self-confidence, pass it down to agriculture. Okay, so the government makes a lot of promises. I listened to the person who left here, even though you said, let us not talk about politics, but he struggles to remain within it is easy. And it is going to be very, very unreasonable for us to just say a president comes to office and he does not know what he's doing. Nobody does that. Everybody comes with a good intention. But the reality is, no matter how your intentions are, does it serve the reality that is on the table? Okay, so some of the realities that we are facing is, one, we have huge youth population. Is our policy moving at the speed with which the population we are serving is moving? Is it measured in such a way that it's producing short, medium, and long-term solutions that are needed to paddle, the resilience with which the population we're serving needs to be served? And third, are we communicating part-time how we are intentionally mainstreaming these policies to serve, what we need to serve? So there are some of these. We're struggling with those things at the moment. And that's why when you see a lot of young people across the country agitating and, clamoring, if I work for government, for example, I would do less of defense and more of communication.
All right. Thank you very much, Samia Michael. Let me now introduce here in the studio Chief Obi Nanwaka, who is Director General Committee of Youth on Mobilization and Sensitization. We thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, sir.
Let's give Samia Michael a break and run you into the program.
You're welcome.
What are those SDG goals that are related to the youth, and how can we help to harness the talents of our youth that Samia Michael has copiously talked about to meet those SDG goals as a country?
Okay, thank you very much for having me, and happy International Day celebration to young Nigerians. And in line with your questions, globally, in line with United Nations, we have 17 goals. And if you look at those 17 goals, in line with the team as well, you can all recall that education. The team. The team talks about localizing the SDG.
Okay.
Yeah. Call to youth action. And if you look at some of the questions you ask, looking at about education for all, talked about gender inequality, talk about clean environment and green energy. Let us not talk about more about how it affects the young people, but let us also focus on the policies of the federal government, how young people can be empowered, clean environment and renewable energy. Look at the issue of compressed natural gas, which is CNG. Mm-hmm. The government is making efforts to ensure that our environment is not just clean, but provide opportunity whereby young people, potentials can be harnessed and they can also be given employment or become employment level. How are they going about these things? One is, over the years, we've been depending on fuel consumption. The past administration made several efforts to ensure that our environment is clean when it talks about renewable energy. But this current administration have introduced and executive order has also been passed during the FEC meeting to emphasize that, yes, the compressed natural gas will not just be talked about when it comes to advocacy-wise, but also to be encouraged. Look at everywhere. Most of our vehicles today is CNG uses. And a lot of young people.
Did you say most?
Yes.
Some.
Yes, not just some, most. People like you are elite.
Really?
Yes, you are elite.
I don't think so.
No, you're not really engaged in most of these commercial drivers. Mm. Many of them, they have converted their vehicles into CNG. And who are the people converting these vehicles into CNG uses? These are young people. So another aspect is the education for all. The current administration is also ensuring that now we have what they talk about NEF fund. The NEF fund did not just provide loan for our young people. The NEF fund has also provided job opportunity from other Nigerians. Few days ago or few weeks ago, many Nigerians are celebrating in our tertiary institutions that they have received their loan. And this has given hope to the hopeless. People like us, when we secure admission into University of Nigeria, Nsukka, our parents were crying. There was no money to send Obina to school. If this NEF fund has been initiated and put into place, in the 20s, when I went to university, by now I would have become a professor. So, talks about the gender inequality. Now, the current administration is also doing well. If you look at our Federal Executive Council today, and the people that have been gainfully employed, given opportunity to serve in the government, appointments, and other views, the current administration has also given our women sense of belonging. So the administration is doing well to make sure that some issues that align with our SDGs are properly addressed and unnecessary young people will take.
What is the place of the youth themselves in all of this? Now, you've talked about a lot of how the youths are benefiting here and there, but how are the youth contributing to achieving, localizing and achieving the SDG goals?
Number one, they are giving sense of belonging and they are getting involved. The platform have been created. Conducive environment is being ensured so that they will also contribute to the localization of, in line with the team that we're talking about today. How? There is a financial autonomy. This financial autonomy is to strengthen our local government system. And when this is being put into place properly, I believe the current administration, they are fully enforced it and they are in line. The young people will play a very critical role in our local government good governance. Today, we have a lot of young people that have been given tickets in various political parties, especially from the FCT. If you go to Buhari Area Council, Shokolo Haruna Audi is a candidate of the All Progressive Council in Buhari. Here in Amak, the vice chairmanship candidate, Yusuf Nabado, is also a youth. These people are just 41, 40. You understand? So they are doing everything possible. It's not just about how they can harness it and contribute their own quota. Now, the young people in several sense of belonging as they're going through. We even know that the Ministry of Youth, Honorable Ayodele Olawande, has also done well in this current administration. And you can also agree with me, since the history of Nigeria, this is the first time that we are having a youth who is also a youth minister. And the essence is to reawaken the consciousness of Nigerians.
Can we go back a little? At the beginning of the founding fathers of this nation were youths. From the prime minister, they were youths.
No, what about the population that we are talking? The population, the education.
Yes.
No, if you have...
Because, because you said in the history of Nigeria, this is the first time.
The first time.
So I want to remind you that...
No, I said the first time we have a minister of youth who is also a youth.
Okay.
And these persons understand the body language, the challenges, the plight, and the predicament of young Nigeria. And if you see so many programs that have been put into place during this administration, it has given a lot of millions of young people a sense of belonging. Recently, Mr. President inaugurated the National Youth Confab Planning Committee, 44 members, which I'm fortunate to be among them. What is the essence of this youth confab? It's just to give young people a sense of belonging. Come, let us discuss about technology, how it can favor you. Let us discuss about education, how it can favor you. Let us discuss about governance. Is the governance of this country working well for you? This is the essence. And recently, you can also recall and agree with me that the Interior, they just concluded the registration application for the recruitment into civil defense, immigration. Look at the age bracket that we're talking about. 13 years below, 18 to 35 years. Before, it used to be only 18 to like 28 years. The essence is that they want people to contribute in localizing in line with the SDG and the goal. So young people are giving a lot of source of belonging. And if you see a lot of them now, they are ensuring that they contribute their own quota to the development of our country. But however, we should be encouraging local community engagement and contribution. Yes, many of us here today, we have abandoned our local community. So the awareness in this team is go back to your grassroots. Look at a way and how you can contribute to your local communities. When the local communities everything is being put into place, education is there, employment is there, the security is also there. We are going to have high rates of reduction when it comes to the rural and urban migration. So the reason why we're having congestion in our society is this migration. And when all these things be put into place, I want to bet and also assure you that young people, youth, they don't even have any reason to be seen in our metropolitan city.
So what are effective ways to localize the SDGs for youth participation? Before you answer that, I would like to remind our viewers that we are expecting your WhatsApp messages or text messages so that you can contribute and ask your questions to our guests here in the studio. So how can we localize the SDGs? Because we're celebrating the Youth Day today. The SDGs for youth participation locally. Because every country globally have their own way of implementing the SDG goals. So how can we in Nigeria, localize the SDGs for youth participation?
Well, number one is that localization of this SDG, so many measures must be put into place, which I know that young people cannot just be seen in anywhere in the local communities without ensuring that there's adequate security. When there's adequate security, which I'm sure and I'm convinced, and I give kudos to this present administration, they are doing well when it comes to combating the high rate of our... It has reduced, unlike before. That's why you can see our farmers' production, agro production have increased. When security has been put into place, young people don't like stress. They like to be where they can harness their potential and contribute to the community development as well. Two, if we can strengthen our local government system, many of them will not be seen in the capital city, wandering up and down, submitting CV, looking for white-collar job. Because these people, they are gifted. 3, when the environment and they can provide them with adequate funding so that they can also invest in their expertise. The federal government is doing well. The Nigerian Youth Investment Fund has been increased to 150 billion naira. From the previous government approved the sum of 75 billion naira, but right now is 150 billion naira. But this money can be effectively used when we are identify the real people and there's conducive environment. These people, the young people, are ready to create jobs for other younger generation. So if we can make sure that the security is being tackled completely and the local government system is being strengthened and also continue with this line of education. And I'm glad that Mr. President have released executive order that there shall not be further establishment of federal universities.
Tertiary institutions.
Now let us now focus on the technical institution,
All right.
where the federal government is providing financial stipend support for the students. Now, when this this technical institution are not just domiciled in the city, they are domiciled in our local communities.
Yeah.
The young people will do what? They will now go back to the local community
All right.
to enhance themselves.
Thank you.
Okay, before you go to Victor, let me take this message that came in. Akeju Olagbaju said the demographic disposition of Nigeria obviously is well positioned to confer advantage for the youth to drive the national development. The current administration obviously recognizes this and infused some of the millennials into government, and so far they are doing well. However, we still need to do more to reduce youth unemployment to renew their hope.
All right, Samir Michael, let me get back to you. Now, Obinna has talked a lot about jobs being provided. He's talked about opportunities in governance. But I'm looking at the other side of it, which you are probably more vast in looking at. Is the environment, the atmosphere, is it conducive enough for the youth to thrive when we talk about technology, for instance, knowing how much technology can do, for the entire country?
So I appreciate my brother, my government. I don't know much about many of these things, but
that's why I'm asking you about the one you know.
I believe it is difficult not to note some of the obvious challenges. Today in Nigeria, I think, so for us, we've built just 3 windows for young people for the remaining 5 years we have for the SDGs. Since I started attending the UN General Assembly in 2018, we've kind of prophesied that we won't achieve the SDGs. And while some part of the world, places like Denmark, Sweden, they're making vast, progress. Country like Nigeria, I think at the last time we were about 152 on the dashboard, which is a little challenging. But zeroing, just zooming down on what can we focus on. One is agriculture, which we now have a lot of young youth examples in Nigeria that they are driving. Okay, I'm happy he has mentioned some possible investment. Okay, but notwithstanding, we're also seeing partnerships, collaborations. We're also seeing some other angel investors. We're also seeing young people accessing global funds, from different global sources, one of the things that has helped young people in Nigeria critically well is access to global opportunities, okay, which has helped, rake in investments. Some of the work we do today as a result of that. We had investors, from around the world helping in that regard. Two is this technology that you have mentioned, which is youth-led entrepreneurship initiatives. Mm-hmm. This, we need to see how we drive more. We have a lot of young... There's nowhere in the world where government employ everybody. In fact, where that happens, that country is aiming for collapse. Everywhere in the world, we need to build a system that supports robust entrepreneurship activity. That's why the issue of technology is very important. Today, data is still extremely, very, very expensive in Nigeria. Okay, you go to UK, for example, once you... sometimes I was in the US, somebody gave me phone to call, and I'm like, so I spoke for 1-2 minutes, and I gave him his phone back. He said, no, talk. No, I don't want to waste your credit. And he was like, no. It's, well, even if you call 3 hours or 200 hours for the rest of the month, I am hooked up and all those kind of a thing. So in Nigeria, people still off and on the data because you don't want to. This month alone, I don't know how much I have subscribed. Okay. And then you still have to switch. You see people carry 2-3 phones. I have condemned that behavior. But along the line, you see that you still have to switch between one network, to the other to be able to survive at a point or time. So this limits some of the driving energy of the young people.
Because affordability.
It's, so I see the Minister of Bosun, for example, because he came from our sector, is doing a lot. But it's just like this popular saying that water don't pass Gary. So we have a big challenge that is facing us. But driving young people through agricultural sector, through and self-led entrepreneurship initiative, and lastly, community projects. Because we barely have 5 years in our hand, and the SDG is glaringly looking at us in the face. Through community-led initiatives, we're looking at how young people can begin to drive the kind of result we want in our society. We're complaining about the integrity of our elections. How will young people continue to have access to independent participation in quality election production? Let's take, for example, in election monitoring and observation, tracking of election procedure. Because it's easy. People who are in power, they will give you 100 reasons why the process that brought them is okay. Okay, people who lose will go ahead to also spread why it is not legitimate. But we have to have independent, in my organization, for the past 2 elections, one of the things we have done is to see how do we empower young people at community level. While casting your vote, can you also form alliances that monitors how election results are processed from polling unit to the next level of collation, which is registration area, to local government, to state government, to national level? We had more than 3,000 young people who showed up to want to be part of that process. It was damning interesting. Okay, against all odds, some of them were beaten by the police officers. They were, were thugs at RAC, where most of the things that happens to election result manipulation even. But these are some of the community initiatives. He mentioned something that I like very well, and that is giving power back to the local government. Okay, my organization works with the local government across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. One of the biggest challenges we have in our hands in this country is how useless we have turned that very beautiful arm of the government. Okay, last year we provided support for young people who are interested in participating in how governance work at the local government level. You can't imagine how exciting young people are. When they see support, they commit their energy to ensuring that they are part of what we work.
Okay.
I want to send this as a way of ringing hope for us. I tell young people, let us open the border of Nigeria and say any country you want to go, you don't need visa. Just choose any country. We will still not all be able to go. To move from Abuja to Lagos now, I think it's about 30,000 or 20-something thousand. It will take some people 2-3 months to be able to save as much as that. To buy a ticket to, let's say, which closest, London is the maybe closest European country to us here now. You'll be hearing up to $1,200, $1,500, or even 2,000 something. Yes. That is, some people till they live and die, they are unable to put together that type of money. So it's now, the onus is on us.
The onus is on us.
To make our homework.
Yes, and I have some messages that came in too. Let me read some of them. He said, I believe Nigerian youths are our greatest national resources, and with the right skills, we can change the world from here. Let's invest more in practical training, mentorship, and entrepreneurship so that we don't look for jobs, we create them. Proud to be part of this new wave of change. And from Michael, he said, how do you empower youths that are willing to go into agriculture in terms of supporting them to actualize their dreams? He said, good morning, Nigeria. And Mr. Odis from Igara, Edo State, said, first, I want to thank Mr. President for his leadership and to call on him to pay more attention to our rural communities. Let's return to Open now and let's talk about partnerships with the NGOs, with all other people there. How critical is it, for empowering young people to act on the SDGs? What I mean is, how are they aware that the SDGs is there to help them, is there to promote them? Because people say tokenism is out there, you just come, collect money and go. So how do we ensure youth have a real voice in decision-making itself?
Yeah. Once again, how do we ensure that? Is one, creation of awareness.
Okay.
Getting them involved is not a must. It's a personal decision, because a lot of young people may not have interest when it comes to the issue of governance.
Are you sure?
Yes, or participation in governance. Because, some of them have this mindset of bad leadership over the years. So they have lost interest. So, but however, what we are doing in our own aspect is to do what? To reawaken their consciousness. If you leave these people completely to govern us without our participation, we're not going to get things right. It is not a sense that made up all the political parties we have in Nigeria. They are all human beings. And every political party have the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we have those few people who have this conscience in every political party, whether APC, Labour, and so. So we, as an individual, we are the one that is going to bring changes in the system. And it's going to start from us. So number one is that they must have interest in what? How the economy is being run. They must have interest.
In governance.
Yes, also in governance. Just like my co-guest talked about election monitoring and all those things. If you get yourself into those aspects, you will now understand that even from the polling booth, the money that is meant to develop our community has been brought to the polling booth just to buy the conscience of some people. So one, like we are carrying so many advocacy in partnership with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. In fact, the vote buying monitoring, people like us, we initiated it, and the EFCC keyed into it. Yes, CYMS. The essence is that over the years we've been assisting and working with Independent Electoral Commission to observe elections. If you're not an INEC staff, you can't monitor an election. You can only do what? Observe election. Give your report back to the INEC. And that is where governance, both the good and the bad, start from. Because when you spend so much money in buying votes and get into your position, the first thing they want to do is to do what?
To recoup.
Is to recoup, to recover their money. After recovering their money, they also have sometimes their own personal budgets before they will now go into governance. So when all these things has been put into place, that you don't spend more in electing our leaders, we are going to do what? To achieve a lot of development in our country. And the electorate also have a very huge role to play by doing what? Rejecting money. Two, ask our leaders, what have they done? We have so many local government chairmen that don't live in their local government. They are always running hectare-scatter in the capital cities in their various states. Some of them will now build houses in the capital cities. We have so many governors in Nigeria. They don't even know the challenges of the insecurity in their states. Every time you see them in Abuja, every time you see, when they are elected today, they are planning on the next election the same day. Now, what is governance and leadership? Is leadership about the next election, or is about the people or the next generation? Then who are the next generation? The next generation are the people we are discussing about today, who are the youths. And every policy we are putting to go, either in government, in our respective homes or organizations, the policy, if it does not transit and make positive impact in our younger generation, I want to tell you, those policies are nothing to write home about.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Let me get back as we round off this conversation, Samir Michael. How can we deploy technology to amplify the youth voices across Nigeria?
I also will push it back to you as a national, platform. You need to create platform that provide young people more opportunities.
This is one.
Yes, more.
And we do more.
Yeah.
We do much more
so
than that.
I am challenging both ourselves now that you do more. Be more intentional in programmatic designs that give young people. We're also calling on, more stakeholders, especially banks, tech industries, to ensure that they are more intentional about investing into youth capacity building opportunities.
And providing funding, perhaps?
Funding is key. Is key. And I say, some of the challenges we have that makes it look like we are still puppet in the hand of the Western world is that, take it or leave it, they are still the ones that provide the opportunities young people in Nigeria leverage on more today. If you're looking for scholarship, if you're looking for grants, if you're looking for investors, these are still the people. And yet we have I was listening to a guy, a lady who visited Nigeria recently. She was putting reports online. She was like, man, there's money in Nigeria.
Yes, of course.
There is she was shouting it that even on the street of LA, she doesn't see the kind of cars that she saw in Lagos. But then, people here seems to be more about me, myself, and my family, rather than...
Which is where enlightenment comes in.
Exactly.
More education from people like you so that the youth can see the opportunities right there before them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, Obina, let's have your last words. What advice do you have for the youth in 30 seconds?
One, the advice I have for them is to be law-abiding, to get involved in community development in line with the theme of this year's International Youth Day. 3 is to be more resilient and to be patriotic. If you are not patriotic, it will cost you more harm. And it will not cost you anything to be patriotic, but it will cost you more if you are unpatriotic. Okay,
Chief Obina Nwaka, Director General, Committee of Youth on Mobilization and Sensitization, CYMS. Thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Sumaya Michael, founder of the Global Goals Community Center. We appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
Your submission on this topic. And that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thanks so much for keeping us company. I am Jumba Yusuf.
And I am Victor Azu. I appreciate your time. We'll see you again tomorrow.